How's it? Welcome back to the channel. So I was talking with a friend of mine who's trying to get back into meditating, and she's tried it a bunch of times in the past, but has never really been able to get comfortable with the practice, or she's never felt like she was doing it correctly. Then as a result, has never been able to stick with it for any prolonged period of time. And the specific thing we were talking about that was trying to follow your breath. And she was saying how it's either like so simple and easy that it seems pointless and it's not going to do anything, or like it's so complicated and mysterious that you can't even figure out how to do it, right? And I can't remember where I heard this said. I think it might have been Andrew Holacek, but there's this saying where you want to let the simplicity of the meditation practice disarm our natural tendencies to make things more difficult than they really need to be. So I was telling how, like, when I'm following my breath, the end goal is always just to simply receive it. Where, of course, if my mind is kind of busy and loud, I could start off with, say, following my breath by counting my breaths, or saying, making mental notes, in on the inhale, out on the exhale, or something like that. But I always try to get past that point once my mind calms down to simply receiving it and having it, like, getting rid of that space, having it happen like directly in my conscious awareness, for lack of a better way of explaining it. Where for me, my preferred way to follow my breath is with the rising and falling of my abdomen, right? Which is great for a couple of reasons. One is it makes sure I'm doing full belly breaths and not chest breathing. But my main point is, when I'm doing that, I'm not up in my head, like aiming my attention down towards my stomach, feeling it rising and falling. I want to be a step closer than that. I am simply feeling the rising and falling of my abdomen, like directly dead center in my conscious awareness. There is no space, or there is no gap there of me up here feeling my stomach down there. Another way I can kind of try to explain it is, say, like, if you're doing this with your fingertips, so it's a very clear, obvious sensation that you're feeling, right? But if I was doing a meditation and doing this, I'm not over here in my head saying I feel my fingers out there in front of me rubbing together. I want to be a step closer than that and kind of realize that I'm feeling this sensation directly in my conscious awareness, right? It's not happening out there in front of me. Like, everything is happening right in my conscious awareness, so there is no space. Another way, and this is probably actually a better example to give, is, say, like, if you hear like a really faint sound off in the distance. So in a sense, yes, that sound is coming from over there, but the sound waves travel through the air and hit your eardrum or whatever, and you're hearing it directly in you, right? There is no space. It's happening right in your conscious awareness. So it's kind of that same approach there, right? When I'm following my breath, I might start off with using mental notes, right? Kind of still being up in my head, but once I get my mind quieted down, I want to have anything I'm paying attention to, doing any type of meditation, to get to that point to where you're as close to it as you can be, and it's happening like dead center in your awareness. Same thing goes, like, if you're feeling, like your feet on the floor or something, or you're doing a walking meditation. You're not up there in your head saying, I feel my feet down there stepping on the ground. You want to just be in this other mind space, a closer mind space, where everything is happening right in your conscious awareness, dead center. Anyway, hope that made sense. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I made it sound more confusing than it needs to be. So maybe I'm doing that whole, making it more complicated than it needs to be, and not letting the simplicity of the practice, disarm my natural tendency to over-explain shit and make it sound more difficult. But nonetheless, hope that helped. Thanks for the question, and until the next video, keep the meditation practice legit.